F1 driver news, simple version, the tire testing after the racing season is finished, and now we can see what's happening with some race teams that don't know who their drivers will be in 2025. Those teams are Red Bull and Racing Bulls, even though this tire test was supposed to give Yuki Tsunoda a chance to fight for a spot on the team. It looks like the Austrian team has already decided they want Liam Lawson. They might also move up Isack Hadjar from Formula 2 Racing to the sister team. But there are problems with Sergio Perez's contract that they didn't have with other drivers before. So will we see the Red Bull teams completely change their driver lineup? And if this happens, will it make Tsunoda look for a job somewhere else, like at Aston Martin? One of the biggest mysteries, and probably the only question left to answer for the 2025 season, is who will drive for Red Bull and Racing Bulls. While we have a general idea of how things will probably work out after the team bosses talked, and Perez himself said his job is in danger, nothing is for sure yet. For example, the tire test in Abu Dhabi was the first and probably the last chance that the Japanese driver would have to become Max Verstappen's teammate starting in 2025. Even though the president of Honda Racing, Koji Watanabe, talked to Red Bull about making this happen, it's very unlikely to work out. When talking about this situation, Watanabe said he came back to Japan from Abu Dhabi yesterday afternoon, and on Saturday he had many talks with Red Bull about the drivers for next season and beyond. He always says the team gets to decide on the driver, so Honda's opinion is just a suggestion. But from Honda's side, they believe Tsunoda has the skills to move up to Red Bull and should be one of the choices. He thinks what they could do is give him a chance to show his abilities to the world. So he asked for Tsunoda to join the test, and they made it happen. Tsunoda clearly figured out the differences between the Racing Bulls car and the Red Bull car and gave the team very helpful advice and comments. Based on this, Watanabe confirmed from the report that Tsunoda himself was very happy. Tsunoda said he was very excited that he got to do the test and felt very confident in the car. If you don't know what a car can and can't do, you can't push it to its limits like he did. But it looks like all of this doesn't matter because Red Bull has decided they want to promote Lawson for several reasons. The first reason is that he did what they expected from him, which was to perform as well as Tsunoda. Team boss Helmut Marko thinks highly of Lawson. When talking about how well the New Zealand driver performed and rating both Racing Bulls drivers, he said he thinks Liam did a very good job in tough situations. If you look at what he's done in the time he's had and how fast he was during races, he did a good job. He thinks Yuki did a good job too, so if anything happens with Perez, these will be the drivers they'll consider. Even though Lawson was slower than his teammate in qualifying in all 6 races they raced together as Racing Bulls drivers, he scored 4 points, which seems to be enough for Red Bull to think about him as a replacement for Perez. You're probably wondering what Tsunoda could possibly do more to get a chance at Red Bull, but at this point it just looks like the team has decided to go in a different direction. The first real chance he'll have to be competitive at a higher level will be with Aston Martin, but only if Honda pulls some strings and makes changes to one of the most controversial driver lineups on the grid. With the aging Fernando Alonso and the unfair relationship between Lance Stroll and his father, who owns the team, there's always a possibility for change. With new people like Adrian Newey and Enrico Cardal coming, as well as Honda, who will be looking to make big improvements in the team that dropped so quickly after their good start in 2023 looks so promising. Either way, the situation at Red Bull stays the same when it comes to how they see their drivers. Even though you might say Lawson doesn't have enough experience to be Verstappen's teammate, he has the steadiness and reliability they want. During the tire test, he drove more laps than any other driver, and this shows that not only can he perform amazingly well, but he can also give feedback that will help the engineers make the car better. Now, they have lots of time to work in the wind tunnel after finishing 3rd in the team championship. Red Bull's goal was clear from the start of Perez's problems. They need 2 drivers who can score points regularly. While it's safe to say that Lawson won't beat Verstappen because of how brilliant the Dutch driver is and his ability to win championships with the 3rd fastest car on the track, Lawson could be very close to him. This would be similar to how Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes had two drivers finishing close to each other in races. If that happened, then the likely replacement for Lawson in Racing Bulls would be Isack Hadjar, the driver who came in second place for the Formula 2 championship this year and lost it to Gabriel Bortoleto, who is already confirmed as a Formula 1 driver. This battle went down to the last race in Abu Dhabi. This move proves even more that Red Bull is ready to get back to their roots, which is moving up drivers from their training program. Perez was one of the rare exceptions they made, like they did with Pierre Gasly, when it comes to signing drivers who weren't part of their own system. Tsunoda has said he will beat every teammate the team puts with him just to prove he has what it takes to drive the Red Bull car and replace Verstappen. But even the Japanese driver knows that the chances of this happening are now very small, as he expressed his own doubts about whether he has a shot at the Red Bull seat. When talking about it, Tsunoda said he thinks he's showing quite well, and it's up to them, and he's just got to do whatever he can. There aren't many reasons why they don't want to put him in the Red Bull, to be honest. He doesn't know if he's a real option to replace Perez. He asked if someone could interview Red Bull and find out. Even if they say Yuki is being considered, he doesn't know if that's the truth or not, to be honest. He hopes he's being considered, but if not, he doesn't know what he should do more than this. It definitely hurts to see Tsunoda being pushed away from the team he spent more than 4 years with. With Racing Bulls getting better, he will always be an attractive driver for the rest of the teams on the grid. Aston Martin seems to have an advantage over the others because of their relationship with Honda starting in 2026. However, even the situation at Red Bull doesn't seem as great as they would like it to be. As mentioned earlier in the video, replacing Perez might take more effort than usual because he still has 1 year left on his contract, which is worth around $16 million. So far, the Austrian team has been in complete control of their driver contracts, and we saw that with Nyck de Vries and Daniel Ricciardo, as well as Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon back in 2019 and 2020. But Perez might be harder to deal with because not only is he bringing huge financial support to the team, he's also going to ask for his full payment if Red Bull doesn't want to continue working with him. This is quite fair from his side since they are the ones who want to break the contract, not Sergio. On top of that, the team lost around $20 million by dropping from first place to third place in the team championship alone. So, the employees who were promised big bonuses are now going to be very upset if they don't see any changes to the driver lineup that actually caused this whole mess, especially Perez, although Perez insists that his contract stays as it is. When talking about it, he added that, like he said, they are going to talk in the coming days. They will discuss the situation from both sides and see if they can reach an agreement. If not, like he said, he's got a contract for next year. But it's interesting to see that this is the first time Perez has shown some worry because he has always insisted that he is the one who gets to decide when the relationship ends. Now that doesn't seem to be the realistic option. It's Red Bull who has to clear up all the rumors with Perez first and then focus on the talented drivers like Marco, called the Racing Bulls pair. With all this in mind, do you think Perez's time at Red Bull is over? And if so, who do you think will replace him? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about the greatest moments from the tire testing, have a look at the video that's appearing on your screen right now.